A really warm welcome from Geneva, Switzerland. This is the pre-course overview and orientation session, so week 0 before we formally launch the course activities on Monday. So the purpose of this session is really to share a lot of information with you that will help you make sense of what is coming in the next few weeks and hopefully help you understand what level of commitment is required from you in order to succeed in the course. This is a very rigorous course, and it is important to follow the instructions that are given and to act promptly to complete the tasks that are your responsibility. This is a different way to learn. From some of you may be familiar with other forms of e-learning where you click through screens or you attend and listen to lectures. This will require your active involvement and participation. So we want to give you a sense of who is in the course. We want to introduce the course team, explain where you can get support and advice, give you some sense of what happened last year in what was quite a remarkable experience with people from 30 different countries collaborating on developing action planning for their countries, the learning objectives of the course, how the course is organized, the schedule, next steps, and so on. So let's get started. So we have 42 different countries represented here. You can see the list here, and you can see there are some larger contingents than others. If you are the sole representative of your country, I would encourage you to think about that, that really your commitment, your dedication to the course will be just representing your country's dedication and involvement as well. So, and in terms of age and gender, we can see the breakdown here, and probably just more significant, you'll see there's a broad diversity, a range of experience, of levels of experience in immunization. And what I would like to ask the more senior people just in the course is to show indulgence and to adopt a mentoring, a position and attitude of mentoring and support for the more junior participants. We do believe there's a lot to be gained from having fresh eyes look at the work of the most senior people, and of course for senior people to support and mentor and give and receive feedback to the younger folks in the course. Online experience, most of you have taken some kind of online course before. So for those of you who have not, of course there is going to be a learning curve, but also in fact for those of you who have prior online learning experience, I am going to ask that you just keep an open mind about this new approach to learning. We found it, and participants working in immunization have found it tremendously effective and empowering in its ability to reconcile what you know about your country context, where you work, and then the global knowledge and recommendations from WHO, such as the GRISP guidelines. So the learning team is here, and I just spotted Jill Mill Bell, so I'm adding her as an organizer to the session. Jill Mill is, of course, from the World Health Organization, together with Alexander Karikis, will be the WHO leads on this project and your main reference people with respect to substance. The scholar team, of course, we have Professor Bill Cope, Hannah Cade, Juan Hernandez, and myself, Reda Setki. So we've added little pictures. We will be sharing, and we'll want to encourage you to add your profile page if you have not done so already in the community, and you'll find a video tutorial that shows you step by step how to do that. So just to say about our role and your role in terms of participating in this course, really this pre-course briefing is the only time where I will be doing most of the talking. Every other session in the coming 6 weeks, you will be center stage. There'll be a brief update about the course, but there won't be a lecture. There will be opportunities for you to present the work that you are doing in a particular week, to share your expertise and experience, and to give and receive advice and feedback from your with your colleagues. So to emphasize what that means, there's actually, this figure is actually over 1,000 people applied to the course. I must say, I must commend the 29 of you who are attending today and express some disappointment that people who were selected from such a large group have not joined this first pre-course briefing, but we'll be following up with them and encouraging them to keep in mind that this not only is this a mandatory requirement, but it's also an important way to connect with the community and to get as much as possible from the rest of the course. So my appreciation to those of you who are here, and looking forward to seeing you each and every week in the session. Now, to give you a sense of what happened last year is that these are a couple of quotes from a learner in the first pilot GRISP course. And one person described participation and being selected in the GRISP course as a life-changing moment, not movement, as an opportunity to interact with colleagues from all over the world. And when we asked the GRISP participants what is their advice to new participants joining the course now, the best summary we found is to be regular in the course, look at the updates every day, adhere to these strict timelines, and take support from the course team. That's really, really sound advice, and we realize it's challenging. So I also want to say we acknowledge and we understand some of you have very high levels of responsibility, ongoing commitments and deliverables. You are busy working professionals. You also have family lives and personal lives and responsibilities there as well. So we're sensitive to that. But we just saw in a course that just completed last week a participant who was pregnant at the time, had a baby delivered early, fell behind in the course, and then despite a baby and a move to a new house, managed to catch up and successfully complete the course. So we know it is about your commitment and your dedication, and we're really appreciative of that, of both. Learning objectives, we have some very specific objectives that we hope you will be working on and honing and progressing toward in the next 6 weeks. So the first one is to just define for yourself in your own context the concept of a transformative investment, to relate the 9 transformative investments to your specific context, and then to identify activities and strategies, and to share and compare activities and strategies as you progress working on your own country plan. So we'll be discussing in detail the main project in the course, but just to recap, this is going to be pretty intense, especially if you are working and have a busy life. So if you have not yet blocked out time in your calendar to dedicate to the coursework, I suggest you do this now. Remember that really every Tuesday there's the discussion group in which we'll be asking you to present around the work you've been doing in the preceding days. So that can be the milestone that you work against to get ready for the discussion group. We do believe that even if you're not ready, even if you're still catching up, there is a definite benefit to joining the discussion group. In the worst of cases, if you have a legitimate reason for absence, we ask that you fill out a form, tell us what that is, and then you will be required to complete a catch-up task. So basically a little bit of extra work if you missed a session to demonstrate that you viewed the recording, and to also usefully contribute to the ongoing dialogue, because everyone in this course is expected to participate. So just to give you a high-level view of the process, here we have, and then we'll be digging into much greater detail. You will be working, your main task in the course will be to develop a project, an action plan in which you work from a selected transformative investment and then identify strategies and activities to bring that out. So you will first write that, and you'll be using a rubric. So basically the assignment description, the checklist, the guidance to describe, that describes and advises what should be in that project to make it a high quality project and high quality planning. And then once you have done that, you'll be submitting your work for feedback. And 3 of your peers, so 3 colleagues in the course, will be reviewing your work, and you will also be reviewing the works of 3 of your colleagues. So from that, after that process concludes, you'll then receive the feedback, and in the last week of the course, we'll be revising your initial draft project, finding ways to improve, make it better, and finalize it as well. So that's the overall process. I want to make a pause now to encourage you to type any questions you may have in the chat, or to use the raise hand feature in the which you'll see in the little attendees window. You see a little hand that you can raise if you'd like me to unmute your microphone and speak to ask your question firsthand. Questions or comments are welcome. All right. Okay, let me unmute Mohammed. And this is also our first opportunity to hear your voice, and Mohammed, you'll also need to unmute yourself, please.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, my question is that regarding our weekly discussion group, and when we are going to present our preceding or the back day's work, either we have to submit or share in a discussion form, or rather in a presentable or PowerPoint presentation.
That's a good question. In the past, we've had people do both, so we do make that flexible. The presentations are very short, so 3 to 5 minutes typically, and they are mostly voluntary. So if we have enough volunteers, we don't have to call on people, individuals to present. We do think of it as practicing oral presentation skills. But we understand that in some cases people have put together amazing PowerPoint presentations as well. So it'll depend also week to week, depending on what the current activity is, and I'll be dealing with that in the next section. So thank you, Mohammed, for that question. And can you tell us where you are connecting from?
Yeah, I'm from Pakistan.
Okay, all right. Anybody else before we move on? We do have, as I said, this is the only session where I will be doing most of the talking. The next part of the presentation is to explain how the course is organized, and really day by day, week by week, what you're going to be expected to do, because again, this course is about your participation. So let's see. Yeah. All right. Mohammed has a question. I could not join the WhatsApp group. Is there any guidance? So really, it should be as simple as, let me just give you the link. Yeah, you should be able to use this link and just join the WhatsApp group. Of course, you need a WhatsApp account, and you need the WhatsApp application on your phone. So how is a Scholar course organized? You've got 2 spaces. So far, you have been working in the community. So the community has what are called updates. Updates will tell you what to do. You'll have to read them to figure out what the tasks are and what exactly you need to do based on them. Some of them are just for information, others require specific actions and you to take on specific tasks. So Creator is where you'll start working next week, and that's where the private space where you'll be working on your main course project. So that's a very important part of the course. It's actually where you will be spending most of your time once you figured out a few things in community and completed the first week's assignment. So to give you that overview of the schedule, so week 1, next week, starting Monday, is really about discovering the GRISP guideline and selecting a transformative investment, beginning to think about the strategies and activities that you will develop in your project. In weeks 2 and 3, that's really where we expect you to focus the most and really spend all of your attention and time dedicated to the course, to developing your project. So you will have 2 weeks to do that. My basic advice to you again is do not wait until the last few days of week 3 to get started. You will need to work day by day. We'll suggest a schedule and an approach to do so. Of course, you do not have, you can also choose to do several chunks of work in one sitting, say an afternoon or an evening or morning, whatever time you're able to allot. But we do recommend that you block out time in your calendar in order to ensure that you can progress steadily rather than wait until the last minute. Weeks 4 and 5 will be focused on peer review. So that is where you will be looking at the works of 3 of your colleagues. And in week 6, then you'll finally have to revise. So I'm going to go really in detail into this. And again, please, you are actually encouraged to use the chat to ask questions and make comments. And I'll try to get to them as soon as I see them showing up in the chat window. So yeah. So week 1, this is coming up, very soon, starting on Monday. So you can see here that you will have a community assignment. So this will be the first community assignment that you need to do. And so by the end of week 1, you're expected to have selected a GRISP transformative investment, reviewed the strategies and activities in the GRISP, identify the strategies and activities that relate to the transformative investment that you have selected. And this is all for your country context or for the country context you've selected. And then you will prioritize those strategies and you'll post an update to introduce all of these sort of initial review and selection and prioritization process that you've gone through. And that's just in week 1. So that's really part of the intensity of the first week. And on Tuesday, actually, we'll be asking you to just present. You may not have finalized your choices, or you may not have written up your update and finalized your assignment, but we'll be asking you to present your GRISP transformative investment strategies and activities that are possible, and explaining why you might choose those rather than any other. So do get ready for that Tuesday discussion group. It is going to be quite an interesting one. This will be your opportunity also to present your country's context and tell us more about your situation and the challenges that you're facing. So then alongside that, and this will be the focus in week 2, you'll be starting your project, and this is your main course project. So you'll be able to use the week 1 update to get started. But of course, in your main course project, you'll be going into a much greater level of detail. And in the participant presentations, we'll be asking you to look at a colleague's update so you could choose one. They'll all be available in the community, and share your advice on how to develop their activity planning through oral presentation. So in the community assignments, we'll be asking you to collaborate, so to review at least 3 updates from your colleagues. And in Creator, you'll be starting your project, so really beginning to develop that activity plan, keeping in mind that we really recommend that you do it day by day or bit by bit rather than wait until the last minute. In week 3, this will be the week where you finish your draft and you actually have to submit it for peer review. So this will be the first time on the Tuesday, so even though you'll have a few days left to finalize, where you will be inviting you to present your Creator project. So Creator is the space where you'll be working, but your activity planning based on a transformative investment. And then in the community, we'll be encouraging you to connect with colleagues who have experience in the strategies that you've selected. So that's what you'll be doing in week 3 of the course, and that takes us into the beginning of November. In week 4, and this is actually weeks 4 and 5, you'll be working on anonymously peer reviewing using a very structured process, 3 draft plans from your colleagues. So again, they may be from a country that you're familiar with, or they may be from a country halfway around the world that you know nothing about. So it'll be the author's job to share enough of the context for you to usefully peer review and advise and share your insights and your experience and your expertise into how they can improve their country plans there that will all happen in Creator. So you'll see in weeks 4 and 5, the community will get very quiet, um, and um, and we'll see some more activity in week 6. So in week 5, we're still doing peer review. That's but the goal there is to complete your 3 reviews, and really the participant presentations in the group discussion will be asking you what you're learning from peer review and how that is affecting or contributing to your learning process about the GRISP in general. And of course, in Creator, you'll have to submit your 3 peer reviews by the end of week 5, so by the 17th of November. And finally, in the final week of the course, and in many ways, this is the most important week, you'll be receiving the feedback that you've received from all your reviewers, and that will and then you will have to decide what to do with it, and you'll have to plan how you're actually going to revise your work to improve it and submit a final version to the course team. So again, most of that will happen in Creator, and on Tuesday, early in the week, we'll be asking you how you're going about planning that revision and that final stage process. So I see some great questions in the chat from Fiona Atuhebwe. Will everyone present next week? So with more than 50 participants in the course, no, we will not be able to accommodate everyone, but what we'll do is we'll call for volunteers to present. So in the community update where we do that, you'll be asked to put down your name if you're willing and able to present. And so do not tardy in proposing in volunteering, because last year, in particular, we had many people who had taken too long to volunteer, and therefore we're not able to present. But we'll do our best to accommodate as many people as possible. Even if you do not get to present, you do get to comment and feedback and advise your colleagues. So that is another way of participating. Another question from Fiona: shall we be guided to develop the transformative investment, or are we to study about it on our own? So no, of course there's guidance. You will see day by day updates in the community, including the lectures and slide decks from Rudy Eggers, the principal author of the GRISP guideline. You'll see contributions from other subject matter experts from WHO who will be supporting your learning, and you will have the rubric, so the document that describes and guides exactly how you can work through this process of developing your plan. And in response to Bashir Ahmed, who requests guidance on creating a Scholar account, of course, we've been providing already quite a bit of individual support to many of you. Most of you are now in the Scholar community, but if you're not, do get in touch with us, preferably via the WhatsApp group or by sending an email to grisp@learning.foundation. Hannah is in the community, or I don't see him anymore. So yeah, but he is the person. He may have been disconnected when we had a technical problem. But in any case, he is the one following up individually with already many of you to ensure that you can make it into Scholar. That's a good question. What is the rubric? And of course, we'll be explaining it. Thanks, Bergath. So for Aristide, who says he can't hear anything, if other people can confirm that you're able to hear me. Let me see if Aristide seems to be connected by phone. Okay, so he needs to enter his audio pin hash 170 hash. Audio pin hash 170 hash not entered. So that's just for, yeah. All right, so yeah, the PDF file is the GRISP pre-course presentation, and thank you, Aristide, because this means that you have found the resources that we have shared. So we really appreciate it, really like it when we see people, learners taking the initiative and being self-directed rather than waiting to be told what to do, and we encourage and really value that kind of problem solving. I do see a private message from participant. I'm on travel for first 2 weeks, but usually in touch with my district team by WhatsApp and emails. I'll be able to spend 1 to 2 hours on a daily basis during my travel. I will also participate in weekly discussion group. What will be the advice for me specifically creating the project? So there, 1 to 2 hours should be more than enough. We recommend, as you know, minimum of 4 hours per week. So really the only issue is bandwidth and access to the internet. Will you be able to log in to and check into a website to see what, to get the latest updates in Scholar? If not, we do have a number of solutions that can help you progress in the course while you're traveling. So do get in touch with us again individually. So that's, yeah. Let me see. There are some more questions. Helen says she can hear me. Okay, great. Aristide, now what do I need to do? So Aristide, it looks like you need to enter the audio pin. Sekai Gute says Hawassa, Ethiopia. I'm guessing that's where you're connecting from. Paul asks, do we use this PowerPoint to revise the presentation? I'm not sure which presentation or which PowerPoint you're referring to, but you will not be working from a PowerPoint presentation. You will be working from your own expertise and experience about your own country context and using the GRISP guidelines to inform your activity plan around a transformative investment and then associated strategies and activities. All right, on the invalid email address and Scholar account creation, we'll look into that. We have seen messages from you, but in most cases, when we investigate, we find that people did not follow the instructions that were given on the onboarding page. And in response to Omolara Adeyemi, please can we have access to this presentation after now? You will find all of the course resources in the materials panel in GoToTraining. So I'm not sure if you're connecting from a phone, you may not be able to see it, but you will receive an email from GoToTraining with all of the materials for this discussion group. Great. Okay, so if Mukesh Prajapati says, thanks for practical advice. I will have comparatively good internet during my travel. That's great. All right, so let's go to the next section of this presentation, and we should have time enough at the end for more questions and to hear more of your voices going, before we finish. I will also be staying for an additional 30 minutes which are optional, but during those 30 minutes after the formal session, the mandatory session is ended, I will be walking you through all of the steps you need to do for onboarding during this orientation week in order to be in good standing with the course when the course activities actually kick off on Monday. So just a really important slide are the sort of certification requirements. So as I said, there are activities in community, in creator, and then there's the weekly discussion groups. So for community, you will have a week 1 community assignment to complete and post, and then you'll be asked to comment on at least 3 other week 1 assignments posted by your colleagues. So that's the next week. That's what you need to get done before we can in order to meet these certification requirements. In Creator, so this is your main course project, you need to complete the draft project, the 3 peer reviews, and the revised project against the deadlines. And as I'll explain in another slide, there are no extensions to the deadline. So again, plan your time carefully and make sure you've budgeted enough time to do the coursework. Third requirement is participation in the weekly discussion group. And in fact, I'll be sending a message to the people who are not present today, because we are a group of right now 71 people who were confirmed for the GoToTraining group, and again wish to commend and recognize the presence of those who are here, of the 34 who are in the session. So now resources supplied by the course. So you have by now the GRISP guidelines. They're available in the shares, and that was one of the tasks to complete. And second, the Global Vaccination Action Plan as a sort of secondary resource, but your main focus, where we anticipate that you'll be spending your time is in the GRISP guidelines. So if you have not downloaded them yet, you'll find it in the shares of the community. and you'll know what shares in the community means if you followed all of the onboarding steps and video tutorials. So resources that are not supplied by the course. Again, in this course, we're going to be recognizing and valuing the experience and expertise that you bring from your knowledge of your own country's context. So these are these requirements or these resources were spelled out in the announcement for the course. So we want you to look at them carefully to make sure that you have them with respect to the country for which you'll be developing your main project. Collaborative guidelines, these were just posted in the community. So these should be obvious, but I do have one contribution I wanted to acknowledge, and this is very much in the spirit of the GRISP course and of the Scholar approach. We did have, and I don't know if he's, okay, yes, he's in the community now, Paul Esenge, who suggested adding, be supportive in providing lessons learned from your country's perspectives and experiences. And that would be a great addition to the collaborative guidelines for this course. And in case some of you would like to see that and respond to Paul, I've posted a link for the update in which we shared the honor code and participation guidelines. So how to keep up with the course. I've mentioned, this idea that it is rigorous. There is new stuff happening every day, new activities every day, new tasks every day. We've chunked them so that you should be able to complete individual tasks in, or the day's tasks in less than 30 minutes. That includes working on your activity planning. Now, this is a minimum. If you're spending twice or three times that much time, yes, please understand that this is a minimum and it's an estimate and is really dependent on your level of experience, basically how fast or slow you work, and that can be very different from one person to another. But basically now you don't have to do the work every day, even though that's the recommended approach. You can, of course, do all of the week's activities in a single sitting, whether that's during the weekend or whether that's in the evening, in the morning, whatever works for you. But if you notice that you're falling behind, do not wait. Just reach out to us. We're really here to support you and to help you succeed in this course. So my recommendation is that you send that email or WhatsApp me or Hannah as soon as you can, basically, so that we can see how to support you. And whether it's because you're going to the field and won't be able to access the Scholar website, or whether it's because you've been overwhelmed with other priorities, other work, and need to catch up, we can help you, and we can share many stories of people who seem to be hopelessly behind and who actually caught up and successfully completed the course. The best way, of course, is so the prevention, and to really make sure that you are keeping up with the instructions and tasks, and most of them are small. They're little, in order for them to be manageable. So if you feel overwhelmed, in the coming days, especially starting on Monday, you are likely to get a ton of email from the course, and your inbox, I'm sure, is already full. You'll get many email notifications, many sort of different tasks and updates. Some of them will be from the course team, others will be from your colleagues introducing themselves. We'll be posting video tutorials explaining how to navigate this and how to find just what you need, to do next in the course. And that's, we encourage you to pay attention to the emails and to watch the video tutorials. It is really night and day between participants in the course, in a Scholar course, who do not take the 2 or 3 minutes to watch a video tutorial and who a week later realize that they're unable to complete a task, versus the people who make that little bit of effort, take the 2 or 3 minutes to watch the tutorial and actually know what to do next. So yes, make sure you are in the former category if at all possible. So really, before you go any further, I hope that I have been candid about the rigorous requirements of the course and the level of commitment to succeed in the course. So really, having heard the description of what is going to happen in the next 6 weeks, I'd like to ask, before we open up for Q&A and discussion, to think about, are you really ready, to dedicate yourself to this course for the next 6 weeks? That's step one. And then step two is, in practical terms, to complete any of the onboarding steps, including the one where you may have gotten stuck with creating your account or finding the community in Scholar, and making sure you go through the steps. Will be individually solving problems for each participant. You are what is for us a small cohort, so we want to make sure that everyone who is committed gets on board. And again, we're still having problems with people finding emails sent from Scholar in their spam or junk inbox, people who initially say, no, I didn't receive any email, but then when they start looking, they actually find the emails, and we ask that you whitelist the emails that you receive from us, just to ensure that this doesn't happen to other participants. So that's it. If as I said, we have 20 minutes left for a Q&A and discussion. We'd love to hear from each of you. We're a small enough number that I'll be going around if there are no, once we've addressed any burning questions or comments. And for Adamu Ibrahim, can we access this presentation for reference? Of course. You will find in the GoToTraining control panel, you will find a section, a tab called Materials. If you look there, you will see that actually you have all of the materials for this session, including the pre-course orientation PowerPoint. So yes, so do use the materials. GoToTraining sends out automated emails. Make sure that you're receiving those as well, because those will contain the links to the materials. But of course, this is only once a week. The rest of the week you will be working in Scholar, and I really recommend that you make it a habit of checking into Scholar at least once a day to see what's new. There will be information sort of bit by bit as we progress through the course, and each time you'll be finding a useful resource, something that actually helps you build your course project. So that's the formal presentation. You have the PowerPoint available already. So I really want to open up for questions. I see that Tapas Sadasivaner has their hand raised. So I'm going to unmute you. Tapas, welcome.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, indeed. Welcome. Where are you connecting from?
I'm connecting from India.
Okay, welcome.
So my question was, can we access the project rubric so that we can plan our project accordingly?
So in the materials, you'll find a sample creator project, which will give you a sense of what's in the, what will be expected in your project. The actual rubric will be available next week once we formally get started with the course. So many of the resources are already there, but we're actually just revising and improving the rubric. So yes, we ask that you we ask for your patience, but that is, in fact, that will be your main reference document will be to ensure that the project you build meets all of the requirements of the rubric.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. Okay, I see Vinod Bura has also raised their hand. So Vinod, welcome. Can you tell us where you're connecting from and what is your question or comment? You'll need to unmute yourself before we can hear you.
Yes, hi. This is Vinod here. I'm from Jakarta, Indonesia.
Yeah, welcome.
Just to greet everybody, and I finally just got connected. So I look forward to going through the course and meeting all my colleagues out there. No specific question at this point of time. Just to say hello to everybody.
Okay, nice to hear voices and from all over the world, Vinod. Thank you for speaking up. All right, Pergath says pre-orientation has clarified many doubts. However, using Scholar rubric later in the course may require the organizer support. So yes, indeed, you will have tutorials that you can watch for every step of the work that you'll be doing in Scholar's creator space. And so, again, as long people who take the time to read the instructions, view the video tutorials, and follow the instructions, do just fine in the course. So Paul Esenge, yes, welcome. Where are you connecting from, sir?
Yes, I'm connected. Just to thank the organizers for this. I think the voice modulation for this course is good. And wherever there are internet problems, we may come back to you to see what could be done to catch up with the previous day's work. But thank you very much for this.
Great, thank you, Paul. All right, so let me go to, all right, we still have more questions. I think Mimi Lamu Mainak is next, and then Mohammed Sheikh Ali Hassan.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. I'm Mimi. I'm from Bhutan. Thank you very much for the presentation, and I'm very happy to be in this group. My question is regarding the work assignment that you've given us, at least for the next week when we do this community assignment. So how do we upload it into the creator? I was a little not clear about that. And also if you could explain a little bit about this rubric, no? Yeah, thank you.
Sure, those are two very good questions. So on how you will work in Creator, I'll demonstrate that in a few minutes just to give you a sneak peek. But when we get to it, as soon as we've released the Creator assignment and you begin to work on your project, you will find the full set of guidance, instructions, video tutorials to show you really step by step what you need to do and how you need to do it. That will free you to then think about and concentrate your energy on building the best possible activity planning, country-specific, around the transformative investment of your choice. With respect to the week 1 assignment, in which you actually select the transformative investment and outline the strategies and activities that you have in mind, there, again, there will be detailed step-by-step instructions to support you there.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you for your question and the questions of others, and welcome, of course. So Mohammed, I'm unmuting you, and
yes. The implementation will be with 1 and 2 of December of this certification implementation. That's going to implementation. Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry, I was not able to make out what you said. But I see that I see your comment. Thank you that you have poor internet connection. So let us know if you need any specific kind of support.
Business evaluation, all of this will be after the campaign. We are in a situation of green, which means there is no additional business cases that are screened. We hope the interruption outbreak is controllable with the this time of the green. So this is the evaluation of the campaign, which includes to develop the protocol, field testing, during the 3rd week of November, training of supervisors and operators. For the 2nd week, coverage survey, first 2 weeks of January, data entry and cleaning and report collection, 3rd week of and 4th week of January.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm sorry, Mohammed, I was not able to hear you properly. I intended to open the session with Jill Milbal from WHO HQ. I did not see her in the community right away, so I want to apologize to her. And I do want to make sure that she can address a word of welcome and share any comments or concerns with the community. Jill Mil, again, apologies, and glad to see you here, of course.
Yeah, thanks, Reda. Hello, everybody. This is Jill Milbal. I work in WHO Geneva, and together with Reda, we're organizing this course for the 2nd time, and we are very happy to have you here. And I send a warm welcome from a sunny Geneva day today here. And I really hope that your this course would help you with your work. I just want to mention one or two things. One is that Reda and Hannah have done this course in the past and provided excellent support with it. They will be your first point of contact if you have any issues, particularly with the Scholar software or this GoToMeeting. They will be your point of contact. And as you've seen, Reda has opened up WhatsApp, and as well he's volunteered to stay longer. So please don't hesitate to reach out for help. If you have any not technical, I mean in the sense, if you have questions related to your project, once you start doing the project and you want some expert advice, we have set up a system in WHO where if you send us some particular question which deals, let's say, with a particular domain, let's say with a particular question on surveillance or data, we will direct it to the right person at WHO. So although you don't see their names listed in the presentation this morning, but be assured that we all at WHO are very excited to provide this course and to support this course. But again, all the requests would come in through Scholar, and then Reda and Hannah will direct it to us, and it might take a day or two for us to get a response. But please send in your questions, but particular to the topic that you are working on, and not just general questions on, you know, what's WHO recommended schedule and those sort of questions, but the ones that relate to the project that you're working on. So I wish you all the best, and we will continue to interact online as well as on Tuesdays. But please, at this point, maybe not worry so much about the rubric. It will, every Tuesday, Reda will go through what is expected for the week, and there will be an opportunity to clarify. So, you know, we will be there all throughout the course to support you, and eventually we want each and every one of you to come up with a good project. Thanks again.
Thank you very much, Jilmil. And Jilmil, of course, today's the day when many of the participants, the most diligent ones, of course, have already seen your welcome message in video format. But it's really nice to hear hear your voice firsthand. So thank you for joining us today. I do see more questions in the community. So before we switch to the walkthrough and tutorial, really, I'd like to tackle some of these. Caroline Mwangi Otieno asks, could you kindly share a recorded version of the orientation? So yes, you will in fact receive it by email. Just make sure that you are receiving emails from GoToTraining, or else you'll need to look for them in your junk mail or ask your IT people for help. And then the recording will be posted in the community so that people who have a legitimate reason for absence that they have informed us before the mandatory discussion group will be able to go in and view the session and do a complete catch-up task. It's also useful for, with respect to events such as today, where we had a technical issue and were disconnected for a few minutes. So Tsegai Gute says, Reda, thank you very much for coordination. And just to explain, the reason I read these messages is because people viewing the recording will not be able to see the comments. As you told us, as Tsegai, 3 comments appears. Please, would you tell us how we will get assignments? Is there any way? How do we avoid deduplication of comments? I'm not sure I understand the question, but I can assure you that we'll be providing specific step-by-step instructions for the peer review process. So, and that you'll have ample time to prepare and make sense of how it works. Dr. Mohammed Miroz Salim says, without any doubts, the organizer team has done an excellent job for the course, and I myself find it very supportive. Thanks, Team Scholar. You're very welcome. Do let us know. We're really here to help and help you succeed in the course. Now, a private message. Dear Reda, I would like to you or someone else, please, to say some few words on the WHO GRISP strategy. How does it fit into the global immunization program? That might help everyone to understand the need of implementing this framework. Thanks. Yeah, that's a very good question. The purpose of today's pre-course briefing is really about the process of the course, making sure you understand what you're going to be doing in the coming weeks. There will be content and activities starting on Monday that will address that issue as well as other substance issues, and you will hear the voices of Rudy Eggers and other experts to walk you through the process and help you support your learning as you develop your plan. Mohammed Shaykh Ali Hassan, thank you for coordination. So please, could you send me via email because I have poor internet today? Thanks. So you'll actually receive the links to the materials by email, and you should be able to use those. And Dr. Mohammed Miraz Salim, thanks Jill Mill for making us relax regarding the rubric. And yes, that very good point. Ashut Shrestha, I hope I have not mispronounced too badly your names. Thanks for the briefing. Looking forward to undertake the course over the next couple of weeks. Mimi Lamu Mainak. In case we cannot join the session, how do we inform you, in WhatsApp group or by email? So neither. There's actually a form. So we do not. So we share it when it is needed. So I'm actually going to add that to the. Let me see to the materials. Yeah, so legitimate absence request form, and I'll post a link here. So this is actually, if you know you're going to be away from, for a legitimate reason, you can complete this form, and we'll take note of it. And just keep in mind, if you miss a session, then you have a catch-up task to complete, and that is how you demonstrate that you will have watched the recording, and also how you will contribute to the discussion even if you were not present at the time when it happened. Akachi and Bogo, do we get to choose whose work to review, or will the coordinators randomly choose whose three will review? So it is a random blind peer review. So you do not get to choose, they're assigned randomly. You won't see the, you may be able to recognize some of the authors, but they won't see your names as reviewers, and you won't see the authors' names either. So yeah. Great. Let me see if there are any. Okay, Dr. Khalid Abubakar Aisa, would you like to unmute yourself?
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, hello and welcome. Where are you connecting from?
Yeah, I was having network connection. Actually, I was able to make it now.
Okay, glad you could join us. Where are you connecting from?
I'm connecting from Nigeria.
Okay, welcome. So what is your question or comment?
It's just that I missed the part of the discussion. So I want to know, I want to actually have the update, what is happening actually so far.
Right. So I invite you to view the recording in the Scholar community that will be posted after the session. Okay. So it is for people with a legitimate excuse for not attending the mandatory briefing. Or the discussion group, which is also a certification requirement. Now, so you'll have the full recording, and you already have the presentation and other materials available as a download in the materials section. In response to Dr. Mohammed Miraz Salim's question, do these materials available in GoToTraining? Do we have to get them from the Scholar page? So actually, you will find everything you need in Scholar. In addition, we include materials in the in GoToTraining to facilitate access to the resources that we think are the most important at that point in time, but the most reliable place where you will be able to find the resources you need, the instructions you need, the tasks you need, where you will be doing the work will be in Scholar.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. So there's not any problem now since I joined.
Indeed. So yes, and welcome. And what we say is, what we you realized last year working with participants from 30 different countries is that, in fact, this is a marathon. So if you are here in week 1, we very much hope that your determination and commitment will help you through to week 6. Yes. So,
thank you very much, sir.
I see another question about the rubric. Can we be guided on how to develop the rubric? Asks Akachi Mbogu. I still need clarity on this. So yes, again, for now, the rubric may be a new concept. Think of it as a kind of checklist. It will describe what you have to do with respect to your country activity planning. There won't be any field work or data collection involved. You will be working from existing document sources that you should have access to, and those are detailed in the pre-course presentation. For now, you do not need to worry about that. Your first week 1 community assignment will be about selecting a transformative investment and going from there, and that will be the first step in building your activity plan. So Fainoa to Hebwe says, I'm still unable to see the materials icon in my Scholar. I have community creator, publisher, analytics, and bookstore. So that's the perfect transition. We're almost at the hour mark. So we're going to, unless there are further questions, we are going to close the formal mandatory part of the discussion group. And again, I'll be staying for the next 30 minutes to really walk you through step by step all of the steps in the onboarding process, so you can check if you have any burning questions. If you're having an issue, we'll fix it right away. We rarely find issues or problems with Scholar that require more than 3 minutes to fix. In most cases, the problem turns out to be that people did not follow the instructions they were given, but nevertheless, we're quite willing to help. We do encourage you to take the time to carefully read the instructions and follow them. People who do that do just fine and do not have problems usually. So let me see, I don't see any more raised hands. And Samuel, you're very welcome. Looking forward to starting the course next week. Indeed, we are. There will be daily updates this week for orientation. So you will see more people, as Jill Mill said. There are a number of subject matter experts from WHO headquarters in Geneva who are contributing to the course. So you will see their faces to first welcome you to the course. They will tell you why they are interested and value your participation from all over the world. And then they will also be sharing some ideas and have suggestions to support your activity planning for your country's context. So looking forward to that. Again, thank you all for your participation. And now we're going to close this formal session. Stay online if you would like to see exactly what you're supposed to do in Scholar and how you're supposed to do it. That's what I'm going to be covering in the tutorials. So again, thank you for having joined today. Your colleagues who were absent will be hopefully required to complete the catch-up task